I remember it was March 22nd, I think, that I got laid off after like the initial like shock. I think I was going through, denial and like, all those like weird mixed feelings. I had to really think about what I wanted to do next with my life. My name's Cal Campos. I use they, them pronouns. And right now, it's interesting with titles and such, but right now I'm calling myself a digital media curator, creator, such. Before the pandemic, I called myself a photographer and videographer, but during the pandemic, the traditional sense of photographer and videographer is like kind of morphed right now, because now I'm working with clients at a distance. I've been doing video just like as a hobby. When I was 13, I was like, I'm gonna be famous on YouTube. As like a lot of us end up going through, I'm gonna sing on YouTube. So I did that, and that sparked my interest in just working with a camera, being in front of the camera, being behind, and like editing. And then in high school, I did comm tech, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like editing with Adobe software, like this doesn't feel like work. My first big job out of graduation was Bulk Barnes photographer and videographer at their head office. And I was working with them for around 6 months. And then that's when the pandemic happened, and we're like, it's only going to be 2 weeks. And then it wasn't 2 weeks, obviously. I mean, the business underwent a whole bunch of different changes, and they had to restructure everything, and a bunch of people got laid off, including myself. And so it put me in a really weird place of like, do I want to look for similar opportunities? I think for me, I'm someone who likes different things popping up. And I think like with freelance, that is where my heart's kind of been set on for a while. I've been doing freelance stuff on the side for about 3 years, but never really had the courage to just be like, I'm gonna go do it like full time and like fully like bet on myself. So after getting laid off, I was like, do I want to continue doing, searching opportunities that are corporate and like traditional corporate in nature, or do I want to really put all my time into what I actually want to be doing? So I had these like mixed feelings of like, okay, maybe this is like a new start for me, but it was also like, yeah, like now I don't have a job, and like that level of like just not having anything and like not feeling you have a safety net is really difficult. But I think like the biggest feeling I had was like confusion and some level of grief, but also, this sounds weird, but like excitement for what I can do now with this new, with this like new chapter opening up. The nature of what's been going on, it's just like shaken all of us to be like, okay, I guess I have to figure out something else. Something like, I guess there's like been like a voice in the back of my head being like, why can't you also go do that thing as well? Like it's like a scary thing for sure, especially during a pandemic. And it's been a really, really big year of growth and falling and getting back up and being like, okay, how do I, get better at this? The fact that I had started doing it before the pandemic was a bit better, but it wasn't like me actively seeing how I can like bring clients in. When we talk about creative blocks, it's especially hard right now because pretty much like my studio set, like everywhere that I can shoot right now is like the couple of rooms that I have in this apartment, and I can't really go out into like I guess a mall and be like, hey everyone, like I'm vlogging from a mall, like that, like that's not a thing now. So something that I've tried to get better at is just starting and being like, okay, no matter what, I'm just gonna like try to like go get through this and like finish it. But I think the problem around creative blockages will like always be there. We all have to like find our ways of like getting through. A big part of getting through it is just finishing it and just like committing to finishing it. 3 months into quarantine, my partner and I, we just decided to go out on like a road trip onto like this like random like abandoned long road. It wasn't like to an actual place. It was literally just like this road because we can't like go anywhere and everything's closed. We just like went to this road, and it was just like a foggy day, and like we're just gonna take like photos. I documented it, and I discovered this one song, Jewel by Adam Melchor. I heard it on Spotify, and I was like, oh, I want to make like a music video out of this. And it was really nice to get into nature, and just like we sat in like the back of my car and like opened up the trunk, and we just like sat there and just like listened to nature and just like tried to be connected with like the outside world in like a safe way. We weren't around any people, and I really liked that just because it was like I guess like just like one of those like stamp of like who I was 3 months into the quarantine. It's like weird looking at it now and being like, whoa, that happened. But this year I'm trying to produce more videos that are just like thought-provoking, motivational, and like positive, and I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I was like, why not do that by, I guess, dealing with like a fear of mine head on, which is like singing again. I sang growing up and I really enjoyed singing. Music was like a big part of like my childhood, and then about 3 years ago, around 3 years ago or four, something around that, I went on HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. I'm trans, for those of you who don't know, and I decided to go on testosterone. And I went through what they call second puberty. So it's exactly what it sounds like, but my voice ended up getting a lot deeper, and my vocal cords just started like going like they're just like not what they were when I used to sing when I was 13. I definitely like went through like a lot of like grief with like losing like this big part of myself. I think it stops a lot of us from just doing things that we genuinely enjoy, and it gives us happiness. And like we stop because we're like quote unquote not good at it, when we should just be doing things because we like doing this hobby for the sake of being happy.
Of you when she pulled up like a figment of my worst intentions. She said, James, get in, let's drive. Those days turned into nights. Slept next to her, but I dreamt of you all summer long.
I give this advice a lot, but just starting is a big one. Just starting, and on top of just starting, giving yourself the grace to fail and to go through your own process. I think it is really easy to be like, just start. I made a video actually recently. I think it's my most recent video. It's why we should do something to fail. I think right now my main strategy is setting the bar, not necessarily up for failure, but setting the bar low, because I think like a lot of my blockages come from feelings of anxiety around what if it's not good? What if it's not perfect? And like those sorts of thoughts stop me from even like doing anything. And I think a lot of my blockages come from there. Giving yourself the grace and like forgiving yourself for failing, and I think is like one of the biggest things you can do for yourself, and allowing yourself to exist as a creative or as an artist. The process is supposed to be difficult in nature. It's supposed to be one where you fail, but then you learn from it and you get up and you do it again. I think the biggest thing you can do for yourself is like giving yourself that grace and that space to try and be like, okay, even if it's bad, I'm not going to judge myself, and I'm going to just allow myself to try this thing. And like, don't give up. Choose yourself every day. If this is like something that you really want, choose yourself every day, and know that you are able to get to places that you have never even dreamed of getting, but don't be afraid to choose yourself.